Okay, so let's talk about what went into finding this location. It is a multi-layered process. I actually started with the easiest route, and that is just downloading iOverlander and looking for places of interest, I guess, and looking to see how recent the visits were. I narrowed it down to there are about a half dozen spots that were marked on iOverlander in this area. Secondarily, I take those coordinates from iOverlander and I put them into Google Maps just so I can, and you can copy in iOverlander, it'll be like copy, and you could just paste it into Google Maps and pinned them on my map. Thirdly, I went to the regional BLM office. I bought a map for $14, and it turns out it was the wrong one. Like, I got the one that is just south. You can also buy these print maps online through the USGS. They are a bit spendy, but they do show all of the federal agencies' lands. Because in addition to BLM land, you can also camp for free in national forests. But the guy working there was also nice enough to email me some PDFs, maps for here. I opened the PDFs and I just sort of like screen captured close-ups of here where these few campsites from iOverlander were. And I printed them out and I marked on them routes. I have like first and second choice and third choice and fifth choice, all that. I think there are about 5 in close proximity here on my radar. I knew some of the reviews said that they were trash. Some said that there were some gates. None said anything about that gate at the other end. I should probably put a note in there, do my part. So that was 3 different ones. Fourth, I also saved this area on Onyx Off-Road. I bought the premium subscription. It goes on sale like half price at least once a year. You're able to save offline maps with the premium subscription. So I made a custom offline map for this whole area. So I have 4 different ways of navigating around here. You can also find the National Forest maps online for free. You just first have to figure out which forest you're going to be visiting, then locate the visitor maps and guides. And then look for motor vehicle use maps. Many of the forests will have mobile versions that you can download to your phone through the Avenza app. They often also have free single sheet print ones at National Forest offices and ranger stations. On these motor vehicle use maps, you're looking for dispersed camping corridors. These are forest roads that allow vehicle camping, usually within 300 feet from the road. The downside of these maps is that they just show where it's legal, but not necessarily where it's nice. The side of the road can be steep, or the road is busy, or perhaps the area is trashed, or it has been hit by a wildfire. That is where supplemental information from iOverlander, satellite imagery, and just boots on the ground research comes in. Now, both BLM land and National Forest land have a 14-day stay limit. But an interesting thing I just learned is this. In some areas, these 2 lands appear as sort of a checkerboard pattern. So theoretically, one could stay in one agency's land for 2 weeks and then just sort of move up the road, stay for another 2 weeks, and then just jump back and forth. Also, another thing with these motor vehicle use maps is that it's really hard to locate where the roads are in relation to a map you actually use, like Google Maps or Google Earth. I usually have to go back and forth between the 2 and try and match up the landmarks, the main roads, and like the shapes of the back roads to figure out what's where. I will say that another tool I often use is Google satellite imagery. So when I pin those places in my Google map, I'll look at the Google satellite view. And if you're lucky, you can see the little dirt roads, maybe a clearing. Sometimes you'll see a vehicle. If the satellite took a picture when somebody was parked there, you might see a van. It worked really well in Arizona because it's open, it's desert. Here, the tree cover is so thick that the satellite imagery is occasionally useful. Yeah, not very useful. I should also note that I am talking exclusively about U.S. federal land. Some states also have land that you can camp on, but their availability and rules are all different. Luckily, I was able to go with my first choice, which was boondocking in one of these spots. I did not go and look at the other 3 or 4 that I had in mind. Since I had to do that long roundabout way, I was just like, I'm just ready to be there. I may, before I go tomorrow, right up there. I don't know. We'll see how tomorrow goes. Just to do a little recon. Plan B was if I strike out at these sites, if they're all full or if they're blocked or whatever, I get a creepy feeling. I have Plan B. There are 2 county parks that are just down the road. I basically went through town almost right by them. So there are 2 county parks with camping and first come, first serve campsites. And I have cash because I think they only take cash for first come, first serve. So that was Plan B. Plan C, there is a couple state parks, another hour away. What am I at C now? D was a rest stop. If I had to stealth camp at a rest stop, there's one, maybe 20 minutes back away from town. And the last option is just go home. I mean, I'm about 45 minutes to an hour from home. So, I mean, at that point, if none of that works, something is telling you, just go home, just call it. Luckily, Plan A still worked out. It was a little sidetrack, but Plan A worked out. So now that you've found your spot, you're going to need some extra stuff. Campgrounds typically come equipped with a picnic table, fire pit, and a bathroom. When dispersed camping, you have to provide all of your own amenities. Of course, having a fire is not required for camping, and sometimes it's actually a bad idea, but it is nice when it's chilly. I have a freestanding stick burner that's raised up off the ground that I use sometimes, conditions permitting. However, when it's wildfire season, wood and charcoal fires are banned, so I got a propane one. I got the Ignic fire can. This is the first generation one. They have newer and fancier ones now, but this one, I could never see it below like $190, and that was like on sale. So I was just gonna make my own. I got an ammo can. It didn't seem that hard. You could do it for maybe $60 to $90, but that one went on sale for $160 on Backcountry. So that was close enough, even though it's still twice as much to make it yourself. Close enough for me to just go ahead and buy it. I just save time, and it's kind of cooler because with the pre-made one, they've got a quick connect. It's got legs. It's got the sides all punched out. Some niceties that are a little harder to do when you do it yourself. So I picked one up. I just bought it. I don't need one more project. And then you could get the Ignic propane tank, the 3-pounder, for I think $90 because it's like navy blue. But you can get a Flame King 3-pounder for $60. Still excessive for a little propane tank, I think. And it's funny, at a 5-pounder is only like $5 more. But to me, it was more important that it's compact. And I only go for one night, maybe 2. But if you're a person who goes for a week or whatever, you probably want to at least get the 5-pounder. So anyway, fire pit, check. It's important to get really familiar with the different levels of fire restrictions and pay attention to which are in effect. If you do have a fire, always make sure your fire is completely out. Don't bury it because it can smolder and spread underground. Absolutely drown it. Table. Now, of course, I have my IGT table. which is probably actually going to be sufficient for this trip. But just in case I needed extra space, I got another table. I got this guy. It's the same height, I think, as IGT. I think it maxes at about 2 feet, so still not standing height. I think it was $35 on sale. Okay, let's try our table out. The little lifters are nice. And bathroom. So 99% of the time, I just use the Luna because it's usually just like, gotta pee. But I did pick up a sit-upon one for, you know, other things. It's really short, but I'm a short person, and I actually wanted something that I could fit in the back end area of the 4Runner. So this is it. And you can use it as a little table or footstool otherwise. So I do need to do a little test fit. So this is my thought. Can I, in an emergency, go in the 4Runner right there, because that's where the ceiling is high. So we're gonna imagine that the hatch is closed. It's the middle of the night. I had a terrible burrito. Gotta go. Okay. All right. First of all, the fan would be on this side. Oh gosh, all right. I gotta do some yoga. All right, the hatch is closed, so I can't go that far. It does support me. A little bit of a squatty potty. But I think it would work. I have to move the power bit. The EcoFlow is kind of in the way. So I'd move that, but I can sit up in here. I hope I never have to do this, but if I had to, I could. So this thing comes with a few of these bags for you know what. And I also, in the storage bag, just put a thing of booty wipes in there. Another consideration when boondocking, and actually when camping at established campgrounds, of course, as safety. When I'm boondocking, and actually when I'm at campgrounds, I always turn on location sharing with my partner. I make a point of stopping at gas stations, whether I need gas or snacks or not. I use my credit card just to be seen and to leave a trail. And, well, it's kind of morbid to think about, but I mean, this is the time we're living in, right? Before I leave, I share my plans. I share an entire agenda with my partner. I let somebody know where I'm going to be, how long. That's one thing. And the other thing is just being situationally aware goes a long way. Also campgrounds too. Make note of vehicles, make note of the people around you, anybody who seems fishy. And if it feels weird, like leave. Your life and your safety are more important than anything. So if it means it screws up your plans, if it means you leave your equipment, it doesn't matter. You're the most important thing. If it's shady, bail. I have joked, but I'm kind of not joking, that if I felt like my life was at risk, I will drive out of here as is. I'll leave the awning up. I'll leave my crap here. I'll leave this table here. It doesn't matter. I will hop in the driver's seat and haul ass out of here. I do not care. All of this stuff is replaceable. I'll grab Gunther, of course, obviously. Just Gunther and me, and that's it. Everything else, I don't care about. Be alert, be aware, be prepared to GTFO if you have to. When it comes to personal protection, let's say, It's a very personal decision of what you feel comfortable with, what you morally, ethically, legally are willing to do. I always have at least several forms. I always at least have some sort of like pepper spray, blade, and be comfortable using it and be familiar with whatever you have. Practice, because you don't want to learn how to use it at that moment. Like I said, when it comes to sort of lethal protection, even if you don't or can't, maybe just look like you might. It's up to them if they want to find out, you know? Maybe try a little signaling. I used to be kind of embarrassed about filming while camping. Now I actually make sure that it's visible, just to let people know there is some accountability. Which kind of makes me wonder if somebody could set up a little tripod for their phone or use an old phone or a camera. And if somebody started pushing boundaries, you could say, "Oh, I'm on a live stream, say hi to everybody. What's your name?" So really, danger could be anywhere, but don't let that keep you at home. I think a lot of times people like to scare people into staying home, especially women. Don't let it scare you. All that being said, I still get nervous going boondocking, but the only time I had a negative interaction with a person was at a campground, at a state park. And he was my neighbor, and he was belligerent and threatening. And that was the only time I was worried, but that is why I sleep with the doors locked. But the peace that you get at a site like this, it's worth the extra effort, I think. Even for somebody like me who's a hyperplaner, and I like rolling up knowing that my spot is going to be there and all of that, it's nice sometimes to have a little bit of adventure. A little adventure. Another safety measure that some folks will recommend will be like setting up 2 chairs or putting out a pair of men's boots. And, that might work. But my thinking is a bad actor is probably going to watch your site long enough to suss out that nobody else is there. But I suppose any extra measures wouldn't hurt. So that is boondocking. I did a whole video on how I plan campsites, and I cover this. This is an update. I know this is a lot. I will put all of the resources I mentioned and then some in the description for you to check out.